Welcome to my channel. My name is Valerio, and today we're going to review the SPEX-07 from the graphic novel Blassty, a graphic novel on Hobby Japan, I think, that was based on the first video game by Square. Honestly, guys, I don't know anything about it, if not that I very, very much like the design of this model kit. This is a model kit by Plamax. Plamax, for the one that don't know about it, it is the company under Max Watanabe, and recently they've been shipping a lot of very cool not a lot, a decent number of cool model kit. They use super high quality plastic that are super detailed. They're not the most possible, but they really like focus on the modelers. Therefore, the modelers, they're great. So I bought this one on Hobby in Japan for, I can't remember, I think it's 70 bucks, something like that. And this is a pretty large box, as you can see, but that's all for all. And now we're gonna look a tiny bit at the runner inside of it. As usual, I don't comment on the color, but mainly on the build right now. But first, let me comment on the plastic. So the quality of the plastic of the white one, at least, is the same as the one of the Perfect Grid Unleashed, the same of the dark one. The other color, no, but the white one it is. So very, very high quality plastic. However, guys, this is a kit that you will need to paint. You cannot unpaint it. It will look pretty crappy. Panel lining is not painting something. It's just add a bit of definition. And the build is not the easiest one. There are a couple of parts of the manual that need a tiny bit of interpretation out of it. But it's something that can be done in a couple of hours. So the manual is pretty clear, but a couple of bits exactly onto the joint of the arms are not the easiest one to understand. But this is a very, very cool manual. Plastic is very high quality, 2 hours to build it. Honestly, a pretty good experience altogether, but please pay a lot of attention. Now you see screw and bolts. Screw and bolts are just for the display stand, so the more is just to give it the tiny bit extra resistance. These are the water slide decals. And that's all. So 2 hours later, we go into our accessories. Here I've been out by my kid that I've been putting them on the desk. You can see there is a bunch of stuff. So most of it are not really accessories. They are the part for the transformation for the Starship into the robot. That is the head. This is the display stand, other arm that changes if you keep it into a Starship or not. This is what you will need to attach after the screw over it. You just screw it a tiny bit and then it's going to stay there fixed without risk of falling. This is these are the joint of the legs that you need to switch when you transform it. Still not perfect transformation. Fundamentally you have to change 4 pieces out of it for it to move from Starship to robot. Now there are a lot of hands. The hands are incredibly small for a kit that is not that tiny. And once you put them onto the robot, they're okay. They might have been even a tiny bit bigger, but they fit kind of okay. They are ridiculously tiny. So we have open hands, closed hands, open hands, and the one for the fake perfect transformation, because this is not a perfect transformation kind of kit. And now you have the arms. These are the arms that transform. They are absolutely the same as the wings that you have over the Starship, just this one can transform. The other one are just one single piece. I don't know why they did both of them, because this one looks exactly the same as the one that don't transform, so there was really no need for the not transforming one. In order to transform the arm, you can extract the hands out of this one. I will not show the transformation because I hate to transform my model kit in front of a camera, because every time I have to scream. As I was saying, a lot of I don't know if they're stick. I think these are water slide decals, because I'd be really surprised if Max Factory start to put stickers. And now we're gonna look at the Starship. So the Starship is super cool, 28 centimeter, give it or take it. It's a particular asymmetric design. Now let me show you. There it is. And so there is a cockpit in view. Sorry if it blurs out, but so you see the display stand is pretty cool because there is the name of everything in Japanese. And it is very, very detailed. Now, this is white onto camera. It doesn't come particularly good, and that is why I will try to edit a tiny bit the color. However, yeah, here it is. Okay, so here we have, I thing. I normally don't keep my robots into Starship mode. However, in this case, this is so cool that it might say like that. This is an HG gun cannon, just to give you like a comparison out of it. It is a large kit. You will need a space for it, especially to keep it into robot mode. However, I think it looks very, very cool. Like it's one of the coolest Starship design that I saw in many years. Nice. Like if you are that kind of collector, think about it. Obviously, with the water slide decals, bit of paint and everything, it's going to look much, much, much better. It's very solid as well. Now, we go into transformation. 10 minutes later, it's pretty fast. I don't like to do it then on camera because you have to disassemble and there are pieces flying. If we have our robot, so our robot, it is very weakly proportionate. So at the head is 9 inches, and at the top of the stuff that you see that is a giant cannon, we reach, I don't know, 32 centimeter. It is 13 inches. It's massive. You need the space, plus the display stand and everything, like, because it cannot stand on his feet because of his design. Doesn't really fit because there is no need. And you can see that this element of no fit design has been, has been the inspiration of the Zone of the Enders mech. Clearly, this arrived like 30 years earlier, between 20 and 30 years earlier. So somebody being very popular in Japan, people kind of have in mind this design. That Zone of the Enders and fit kind of remember this one. It looks particularly cool, and it kind of reminds me the Gundam with the Zeus unit. I will show it later into the comparison. However, it is pretty solid over it. The only thing that you might want to add a tiny bit of glue are the hands. But even that, as long as you don't play with him, they're gonna stand pretty still. Now, we're gonna look articulation very quickly because they don't move much, these Plamax kit. They move the tiny bit to keep a pose and that's it. So movement on the shoulder, there is a rotation on the bicep, that kind of, it can move a bit there. It's very weird and hard to describe. The elbow can move a tiny bit, and then you can move a bit the hands. You cannot do the split, but you can rotate at the thigh, you can rotate at the knee, and the cannon can go down. The cannon is super cool, by the way. But because of this weird shape, you need really a ton of space to actually have it, and then you can rotate the balls, let's call it at that. That is one. It has a particular shape, and now that I see it, I can almost see it. Overall, very cool kit. Doesn't move too much, but that is not the focus of this line of model kit. Now we're gonna do a super quick comparison as usual. Lego do this particular time. It is like less than 1/10 of this kit. Then we have a Jim from the origin, an HG, and it is smaller. Here we have the Zert from SMP. Shape kind of reminds, obviously the Zert is much older. That is the one, the Destiny with the Zeus 2 unit on. Kind of similar size. I think the Destiny has more bulk over it. Still very cool kit, both of them. And this is the Dokkan from Plamax, kit that I absolutely love, and one day or another I will find the time to paint it because it's not too many pieces. Now let's go on conclusion very quickly. Okay, so pro and minus. As a minus, the hands tend to fall down. You might want to work a tiny bit on it, either glue it or find something out of it. The instruction for how clear and nice they are. They have one point in which, well, maybe use a bigger font would have helped, and obviously use of English, but this is for the Japanese market, clearly. And articulation is limited, but because obviously it is shaped like this. Now for the Pro, plastic is super high quality. Is super detailed. You don't need to resculpt anything out of it. You need to fix maybe a couple of seam lines, but very limited stuff. And because of how it's designed, they can also work as design elements out of it. It can transform. The transformation is pretty easy. This is not a common subject. There are not many representations. There is a model, right, that is inspired on the video game. As I was saying, this is inspired. It's inspired as the graphic novel, as I was saying. So pretty different design. There was scratch build version out of the graphic novel out of it. So very cool. Do I recommend it? So if you like kind of starships and you think, yeah, cool macros, but I would like to have something a bit more extreme, this is pretty cool. This is not an overrepresented subject. There is many stuff like that. However, I will keep this one only if you're a modeler, because unpainted kind of looks bad, while you can really see the potential out of it if you have to paint it. If you want something a bit more challenging building-wise, this is recommended, but it's not crazy hard. You just really have to pay attention to the distraction. Overall, highly recommended if you're a modeler, tiny bit less recommended if you're an advanced Lego builder and action figure poser. From Valerio is everything. Have a nice weekend, guys.